Here we are at the Armstrong Family Reunion.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and I'm still eating.
Everybody's done eating but Jenny.
Okay, go away, Larry.
Go ahead. There you go. What have we got here? Ooh, that's a messy plate.
I know, it's going in the garbage. He doesn't like messy plates.
Jenny's beautiful sister.
Yeah? He doesn't like messy plates? Do you? Don't you eat your food all organized? Food isn't organized. How could you eat organized?
A queen of denial.
Okay.
Stop it. She has a big
They're gonna kill you. Get her! And these people that I don't know just run.
That's a two.
Now this is your baby. Yeah. Holly. She's our oldest daughter.
H, right?
Michael.
Paige, you are sweating.
Michael.
Here, Paige.
Michael.
Don't waste it.
I'm thirsty.
That's fine, but don't take the cold water and pour it over your face.
Benjamin!
Michael.
Well, our backyard is totally dead now. We decided that there's no point in trying to fight a losing battle. So we water all the trees.
Holy cow.
Do you still have the pin?
I don't have the pin.
I'll bet somebody does somewhere.
Grandma would.
Yeah.
Yeah, you met her. She would. Hattie would too. Allie would.
Yeah, they'd say that.
Surely, if you threw a rock in there, it'd sink. It's still quicksand.
We used to do that. Doyle and I used to throw.
Get him. Where?
I think they went into the home. Their cabin.
Dad, is that the original siding?
You got a recording?
Yeah.
Looks like the old stuff.
Michael's.
Well, that's got to be the original front porch. So somebody lives here now or no? It's vacant right now.
Old cook stove, real cook stove is set like this.
Can you hear them talk?
An old wood stove.
Yeah, you can drink it. There's cups.
I don't see any cups.
Well, I can't tell you
Just
what to
stick
do.
your mouth under their mouth.
Stick your mouth in. There's only a few chairs, so the ones that need a chair.
Huh?
What was that?
The front room ended right where that notch is, and that was front porch up there.
Oh.
And that's the piano that was there. So we'll play it.
Look at the old tub in there.
Well, that wasn't there.
Oh, it wasn't?
There wasn't,
Okay, sit
there
down.
wasn't any
Everybody sit down.
running
I'll tell
water
you some stories.
or electricity.
I like that chair.
So, Grandpa, how old were you when you lived here?
There aren't any more chairs. Well, you got 4 chairs
2.5
out.
to 10.
2.5 to 10.
I'll just play singing.
Tell her why you moved in here.
Just not yet. I can't hear.
Okay,
Role plays and
are you guys ready to listen? Because I can't talk any louder. Okay.
Actually, you can.
9 years ago, I started doing fashion shows in Arizona, and I had 5 boxes of my mom's dresses and Aunt Lula's and Aunt Allie's and Aunt Virgie's. All remember my mom always did costumes of the reunions and stuff. Okay, well I stole some of her dresses and I started doing fashion shows, and I have dresses from late 1800s. They weren't theirs, but I have some. But I have dresses from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. So it was Aunt Lula's and Aunt Allie's and Aunt Virgie's and my mom's. And so I did fashion shows for 7 years. But when I moved to Utah 3 years ago, I changed it because they were killing my dresses and I couldn't replace them. And you know what? I forgot my dresses. I was bringing 4 of my dresses, one from each of them. I have the dress my mother wore the night she met my dad at a dance in 1935. I have Aunt Virgie's, one of her dance dresses from the 30s. I have a dance dress of Aunt Lula's from the 20s. And I have, anyway, I can't remember the other dresses I have. Anyway, so when I moved to Utah 3 years ago, I started doing what I call as a heritage presentation. And I tell stories out of my suitcase like this. I dress up in my 1890s outfit, and I have my hair in ringlets and a hat and parasol and gloves and bloomers and boot, the whole bit, big skirt. And I have Aunt Allie's cameo on and Lulu's purse and all these things. And so I tell stories out of my suitcase, and I have a bloomer collection. Some of them Aunt Allie's and memories. I got Uncle Frank's underwear. Okay, and I got some of those. I didn't bring everything I do because it wasn't all family stuff, but I brought the family stuff. And I tell stories out of my suitcase. So I'm going to tell you some of the stories about some of the things I have here, because these are some of the things I use for my show. And I do go around Relief Society and do it. I don't know that I come all the way to Pocatello to do it, but if somebody wants me to come to their ward, I'd go do it. But I tell stories about the Armstrongs.
Jenny.
And most of the Armstrongs haven't heard the stories. That's why I brought the stuff. And Dorothy and Doyle's daughter, Lori, lives up there by me. Well, you guys know that. I'm talking to her there. Okay, Lori lives 8 miles from me now. And I discovered that she lives 8 miles from me, and her and I are having a lot of fun. So she's seen this show that I do, but I'm not going to do the whole thing. Shirley, you want a chair?
I just want to sneak over here.
Here, I'll let you have this chair, and I'll just tell them how this.
It's okay.
Sure? Okay, the pictures are self-explanatory. They got all the names on them, so you guys can look at that. Okay, this picture right here, this is Aunt Virgie and Aunt Lucy. That's 1923. They have matching dresses on. They were light green, Mom said. And they got spit curls. Little spit curls. Okay, this scarf on the piano right here, if you look at it close, this is the scarf that came off that piano. That was Grandma's scarf on there. Mom's had it in the drawer for I don't know how many years, so she just barely got that off me. Okay, now this right here, can you see? That baby's my mother, Aunt Hattie. This is Aunt Lula, and that's Aunt Allie. They were 24 and 22 years older than my mother, and I didn't even know that for years. But I would have loved to have had those dresses. They all dressed alike. They had a bolt of material, and everybody made a dress alike. So you dressed alike. And this is Aunt Allie. This little woman's book, Grandma Armstrong gave this to my mother when she was 9 years old for Christmas, 1925. And then this picture right here is Aunt Allie, that's your, anyway. And Virgie, here's Aunt Virgie. Here's your grandmother, great-grandmother, whoever you are, who's in the room. This is Ray, her first husband, and that's Aunt Lucy. And this is my mother when she was 22. This is before she got married. You know, this little thing. Okay, these love letters, there's 9 love letters right there. 1890, the summer before Grandma and Grandpa eloped. They eloped July 14th. And these are the love letters. And these are the original ones. I didn't want to touch them. But we are making copies over here, and hopefully we'll be able to, if we get them done today, we'll give some people copies. And I think it's like one per family, and then you can make copies for your kids. But let me tell you what a couple things these letters say. They're really cool. Now, they were in Virginia, okay? And our grandma and grandpa were second cousins. And their parents didn't want them getting married, so they were trying to keep them apart. And Aunt Em was grandma's sister, and she was speaking the letters back and forth between them, okay? Aunt Em was grandma's sister, and she was sneaking the letters back and forth. So some of these letters say, you better destroy these letters, don't let the old folks catch you with them. They called them old folks in 1890. And then the very first sentence in every letter from Grandpa, now he was a southern gentleman, on a plantation, okay? His very first letter in every one of his first sentence in every one of his letters says, I am seating myself to write you a few lines. Is that the rule? I'm seating myself to write you a few lines. Yeah, and then he says, I'm seating myself to write you a few lines. I haven't heard from you lately. Do you need me to send you a piece of paper? Because paper was at a premium, and so she hadn't written back fast enough for him. Okay, now this little card right here, this is a Valentine that Aunt Lula got in 1910 for babysitting. This little purse right here, Aunt Allie crocheted when she was learning how to crochet when she was about 9 years old. So this little purse had to go to all those dances, because the whole family would go to a dance, huh, Doyle? The whole family would go to a dance, and so I'm sure if that purse could tell us stories, I bet it'd have some awesome stories to tell us. This little dance card says Junior Promenade 1922 on it, and that was Aunt Lula's. Has a little pencil. For the young kids that don't know what a dance card is, it's not like nowadays where you have to have a card to get in. This was a dance card that you would have at the dance. Inside it says Foxtrot, Waltz, One Step, Grand March. And when you got to the dance, you'd go and say, oh, Fred, save dance number 9 for me. Oh, I want to dance the waltz with you, so you'd pencil their name in. And then when that dance came up, you'd go grab that person and dance with them. That's what a dance card was back then. Okay, these gloves are my mom's from the 20s. They even got dirt on them, and then that's the love letters. Okay, this doll, now they didn't throw anything away, and that's how my mother still is. She makes everything from something, or something from everything. Okay, my mother made this doll. This is Aunt Lula's real hair on here. Aunt Lula would be 107 right now if she's still alive. And this lace is off Aunt Lula's dress. Okay, now in 1908, Grandpa Dudley Armstrong, the grandpa, he wore a derby like this. This was not his, but he wore a derby like this. That's the kind of hat they wore back then.
So where is Grandpa Armstrong from?
Virginia. That's where they came from. They lived back there. And then they
South
came back
Virginia, North Virginia.
here. Richmond, Virginia. Okay, now they also dressed alike. Okay, now the 2 older sisters, Aunt Allie and Aunt Lula dressed alike, and Aunt Virgie and Aunt Lucy dressed alike. And then Mom was at the end. Okay. Well, Aunt Virgie and Aunt Lucy made hats in the 20s alike. I have both hats. This one was Aunt Virgie's, but Mom said they sewed every sequin on here by themselves. Okay, now my mom has a really, really good memory, and she's going to be 90 in January. And I wanted to have a birthday party, but who's going to come to Idaho in January? That's kind of why we're doing this. Anyway, but when I started doing these fashion shows, I asked my mother, I go, Mom, don't you have any of those hats you used to wear? Because in the 50s, when I was a little girl, my mother always wore hat, gloves, purse, everything that matched. You went to the store, hat, gloves, everything matched. So I asked my mother, don't you have those hats? She goes, so she started mailing me boxes of hats. She sent me 37 hats out of her closet. I didn't even know she still had them. So these are just a couple of her favorite hats, okay? This one, she said, and she's got a really good memory. This is what she said. That black hat with a little thing on it kind of looks like a Martian, I think. She says, I bought that in Cress's, which was a 5 and dime store, in 1931, and she paid $3 for it. Now you remember, Dorothy, what you bought 20 years ago at pennies and how much you paid for it? I don't. Okay, now this hat, she said she bought it, did I say Cress's? Was that one? Okay, this one's Newberry's. Newberry's, she bought this one in 1929 for $1. And she remembers.
Look at the work on it. Wow.
Okay, now this was the nightcap from our grandmother, Ada.